Happy Devils! 4th of July, Tuesday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report. Mid-morning Woo edition. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios in the bunker in an undisclosed location in New Jersey. As we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network, talking about a birth of a new dynasty. Happy 4th of July to everyone. The birth of Nations Week, Canada Day being July 1st, July 4th. It's been a wonderful last 7 days. Being a New Jersey Devils fan, seeing, oh my goodness, Peter stopping his exercise routine, going to the gym just to watch this podcast on the YouTube Live, Facebook Live, hello, Twitter Live, hello. So there's much talk about how good this New Jersey Devils team is. Now, Ken Danico still feels that the Carolina Hurricanes are the team to beat, and I believe that. I agree with Ken Danico, good friend of the podcast, in full disclosure, that the Carolina Hurricanes, they, well, reportedly just signed Tarasenko. Reading that about 12 hours ago. Don't know too much of the details yet. But it looks like there's a Cold War brewing in the Metropolitan Division, which every team, with the exception of the rebuilding Flyers, which I think they're doing it the right way, they are where the Devils were about 10 years ago. I really think that the Metropolitan Division, the arms race, the Cold War is at its highest peak, because this division, the Metropolitan Division, is going to be stacked. The Carolina Hurricanes are the team to beat for now. But is this a birth of a new dynasty? Because the Devils' cap situation is looking very good. With the kind of talent, generational talent that they have on this team, with Timo Meier signing 8 years, under $9 million per AAV, Jesper Bratt, a core pillar of the team, getting his long-term deal finally. I think the Devils paid him at market rate. I don't think they overpaid him, but I don't think Jesper Bratt got hosed either. I think that was a good deal for both parties. Congratulations to Jesper Bratt. Jack Hughes making some good dough, but not over-the-top good dough. $8 million per year AAV for another 7 years. But Jack Hughes chose that path, which he gets a lot of credit for. And also, Tom Fitzgerald gets a lot of credit for making that deal a year ago. Because up until that point, we've only seen flashes of potential of Jack Hughes, who was often injured. Could he handle an 82-game schedule before he signed that big, fat contract? And the answer is, yes, he can. Last season, yes, he did get hurt, but he came back. He also came back in the playoffs when he got hurt as well. So Jack Hughes, great contract. Nico Hischier, great contract. I think Nico Hischier has another 4 years before he gets another big, fat contract. And I think right now with Dougie Hamilton, long-term, Siegenthaler, relatively long-term. John Marino, about 4 more years. This is a great team. This is a good start of a birth of a dynasty. That they've got the core pillars locked in for a while. Now, it's interesting what other teams are doing. The Pittsburgh Penguins are acquiring retreads of old Devils defense cast-offs, first with Ty Smith, then with Ryan Graves, and now Will Butcher has signed a one-year deal in Pittsburgh with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Don't understand that, but okay, to each their own. To each their own. Right now, the Devils, they're goaltending. Is Schmid the future? The only concerns I have going into next season is that Luke Hughes and Simon Nemec, they're young. This is where Colin Miller comes in. A little bit of an insurance policy. You get some veteran leadership on the blue line. Replacing Damon Severson and Ryan Graves is going to be pretty tough, as the Devils may and surely expect it to suffer some growing pains with a young blue line. But the four of Hamilton, Siegenthaler, John Marino, you can add in Kevin Ball. I feel like I'm missing somebody as well. But I think the Devils will be okay. But the goaltending situation, it would be nice to get Hellebuck, and it could happen. It may happen. Now you hear John Gibson, which this story is getting wild upon wild upon wild, with John Gibson in Anaheim, which Frank Saravalli reported that Gibson is basically like, I'm never going to play another game for the Anaheim Ducks. And then a statement came out, and I got to read this because now it's suddenly involving a couple parties outside of Gibson, the goaltender for the Anaheim Ducks for now. And I'm going to pull it up here. And a statement from Kurt Overhart of KO Sports saying on July 1st, 2023, the Nasty Knuckles podcast episode was released with an inaccurate report by Frank Saravalli that John Gibson of the Anaheim Ducks had stated he refused to play another game for the Anaheim Ducks. On behalf of and at the request of my client, John Gibson, we would like to clearly state this statement is false, unjust, and inflammatory. Frank Saravalli did not reach out to the player nor myself to fact-check the accuracy of this comment. My client has never stated to any member of the Anaheim Ducks front office any such statement. John Gibson is an honored member to be of the Anaheim Ducks and is a committed supporter of its fan base as well as the Ducks community. Period. So Frank Saravalli tweeted out, "Hey Kurt, do you remember the last time you attempted to claim my reporting was false? All the best." And he posted a screenshot and a link of a tweet that KO Sports Inc. wrote in 2020. The tweet this morning from @Frank_Saravalli regarding David Ludwig accepting a position with the Arizona Coyotes is false. David remains a valued member of the KO Sports team and is fully committed to the group and its clients. And then Frank Saravalli passed off a link saying that David Ludwig was named Director of Hockey Operations and Salary Cap Compliance, which, I don't know. There's a battle going on there, but one thing I do know, Frank Saravalli is a credible hockey reporter My money's on Frank on this one, and that's all I have to say about that. But getting back to the Devils and their goaltending situation, well, I believe in Schmid. I read somewhere that, maybe Schmid would benefit being in the AHL some more. I'm not so sure about that, but you never know. And with Nico Dawes being out after having surgery, I think goaltending needs to be addressed because there's not much depth there after Schmid and Vanacek, at the very least. And, well, Hellebuck, right now he's making 6.5 this season. If you can convince Winnipeg to take half of his salary for next season, now you're down to 3.5. It's possibly doable, but who would you have to give up? I think one name that's going to be a mystery is Alexander Holtz, where he fits in the equation. Will he be traded? Will he be a New Jersey Devil? Would he start off in Utica? He has to prove it this year. He has to. Dawson Mercer, going into his last year of his entry-level contract, seems like to be one of the better or best players of that 2020 draft. Dawson Mercer. The amount of playing time he's achieved, the improvement, no sophomore slump last season. But Alexander Holtz, he's got to figure it out how to play in Lindy's system. If he can do that, the Devils have armed themselves with another young sniper. And I like to know about how his training is doing this offseason, Peter. Only Alexander Holtz would know. I would assume that he would be getting the best people around him. But he's got to elevate to a level like none other. And I think this is where Jesper Bratt fits in. Very nice, Steve Engel. Holtz is training with Bratt in Europe, and our conditioning guys checking up on him every couple weeks. And this is why you sign Jesper Bratt. You want that leadership. You want that leadership role to help Alexander Holtz guide him to where he needs to be. And that's what Jesper Bratt wanted anyway. He said that a few years ago, that he wanted to take a more leadership role. And now he's getting paid for it. Michael says, I need a Dunkin' in Starbucks land. I'm telling you, I think Starbucks coffee is terrible. I don't know. I'm not a big Starbucks fan other than using their Wi-Fi and maybe having a Frappuccino or something like that. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't even want to look at my credit card bill each month, how much I spend at Dunkin'. They should probably sponsor this podcast. Michael says, sorry, Sam, the chat has been derailed. Well, it's the 4th of July. Anything can get derailed. Let's see here. But Alexander Holtz could be the X factor. If you think about it, the Devils are stacked. They can roll 4 lines with this lineup as is. With Toffoli added, it takes the pressure off Jesper Bratt. It takes the pressure off of Timo Meier. And Tommy want wingies. And he got his wingies. But does he want more? ANJ Devil 2, Wawa Coffee is good. Quick Check isn't bad either. I got to tell you, and I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I don't know what the deal is with Wawa. I've been to several Wawas recently, and I just find it to be gross. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the love affair is with Wawa. Quick Check, I like Quick Check. But Wawa, I don't know. I don't know what the hype is about it. Morgan Williams says Sheetz is better than Wawa. I completely agree with you. I used to go on a Sheetz run at 3 a.m. in college pretty much every night. Sheetz was the one that came out with the touch panel, order your sandwich at 24 hours at midnight about 25 years ago. But yeah, I'm more of a Sheetz fan than Wawa by a mile. And by the way, if you go to Sheetz right now, I think gas is half off for today as a promotion. So I may go to Sheetz today just to burn $20 worth of gas just to get half off. I'm just kidding. Anyway, getting back to the program. The Palat Hughes Holtz line says Codex 100. You know what? Not bad. Not bad, the H2O line. That could be something. You want balance. You want to be able to roll 4 lines. You want to be able to put the pressure on in waves. And the fact that Bastian and McLeod are back, they were willing to. You got to love, like, true hockey guys that, okay, Fitzy, just sign us. Just do the best you can. We'll sign anything at this point. Because they want to win. They want that excitement. They want the adrenaline flowing in the Stanley Cup Finals. Taking that face off. Needing that big goal where the beefalytics comes in the no fun zone. But I'll tell you, this Devils team, it's just going to be reload, reload, reload. Now the pipeline has been disrupted. This season, not many draft picks for your New Jersey Devils. Ideally, not having a first rounder. They went with more forwards than defense in the draft, which I was surprised. But 2024, they may not have another first rounder. So now the time is to win now. But we got to keep that pipeline flowing. But the cap situation looks pretty good. But when you build a dynasty, that's the healthy balance. You want to make sure your cap situation is healthy. So it can be weaponized to get better deals. That's where the leverage comes. And that's what Tom Fitzgerald has done to build this dynasty the last few years. Death Fan says Holtz has an elite shot. We've seen it. His shot's so good, it looks different than other players' shot. His shot is not a non-issue. It's everywhere else in his game that needs to improve. IMO. Agreed. And don't forget about Josh Philman, drafted a couple years ago in the 6th round. He's going to be very interesting what he does in Utica. He can put up points. He can put up points. What is Nolan Foote going to do? Again, the Blake Coleman trade that yielded Shakir Muhammadulin as a form of a draft pick coming via Vancouver through Tampa and then now is part of the Timo Meyer experience. You also added Nolan Foote, who could give you the beefalytics and could give you that hard-nosed style hockey that the Devils need in the playoffs. Should be interesting. We're getting to see the future now. The future is now. Kevin Ball, again, big D guy. Remember Zdeno Chara? That long reach, the size. Kevin Ball has some of it. And he should command a decent salary for where his stage of his career. You can't teach size, folks. You really can't teach size. He's got that ability, which is what made Ryan Graves expendable. I love Ryan Graves. It's sad to see him go to Pittsburgh. But with the addition of Kevin Ball, he became expendable. John Marino, he's been nothing but a great hockey player for your New Jersey Devils. Devs fan says in the YouTube Live, and I agree, and I think Stillman has a shot as well. Chase Stillman, again, one of these, multiple first-rounder picks that Tom Fitzgerald had in the last few years, using his other draft pick that's not in the top 10 for a reach for a player Tom Fitzgerald wants, Chase Stillman could crack the lineup in the next couple of years. But for now, I think the Devils right now, they've got the depth. They've got the reinforcements. But by goodness, I hope they keep that pipeline going in the next few years, as the Devils are going to be good and the draft picks are not going to be in the top 5 anymore. But there could be Fitzmagic somewhere down the line. Now, Cornhole says we need Helly from Winnipeg. We've addressed that issue. Tarasenko in Carolina. Cornhole, we already addressed that. But I'm pleased with the Devils' 12 forwards going into next season. It's very well balanced. You can roll 4 lines. Just needs a little bit more beef. And the Devils are good to go. Well, that's all for now on this 4th of July. Dropping the podcast in about 20 minutes on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. If you haven't subscribed to us now, subscribe to our YouTube channel, at Let's Go Devils, on Facebook, at Let's Go Devils Podcast, and on Twitter, at Let's Go Devils Pod. See Michael Hayes watching us on the Facebook Live. Also, good article by James Nichols, NewJerseyHockeyNow.com. The one where Friedman names the Devils Stanley Cup contenders on his Devils Daily. Also, go to pucksandpitchforks.com as well for the latest ideas from Vinny Parisi and Nick Villano and the rest of the cast at pucksandpitchforks.com. Enjoy your barbecues, says NY Davey. Well, I hope you enjoy yours as well. As the Woo Report continues. But thank you. Hitting the music right now. Thank all those tuning in on this 4th of July. Anything that breaks. anything that breaks. I'll be hanging around the bunker all day as I'm barbecuing, whooping out the grill. Probably take some pictures for all you foodies out there. You can follow me on Twitter at PrimetimeSamWoo, even on Facebook as well. I even have an Instagram that I don't know how to use, really, shockingly. Yeah, and then Michael says, don't JPP today. Yeah, keep all your fingers, folks. Fireworks are really dangerous. That's why I don't do it, because I'm clumsy, and I need my fingers to do this podcast. Anyway, that's how you become a keyboard warrior, is when you have your fingers, folks. But now there's voice to text. I don't know. Anyway, it's July 4th. 2.5 months before puck drops for preseason. All right, getting out of here. Till next time, this is the Morning Woo on the Woo Report. Let's go, Devils.